This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Teela, heroic warrior goddess figure from the Cartoon Collection. However, they probably should have called her the heroic captain of the guard, since that was her position in the show. So the front shows us the new logo for the Cartoon Collection. We get a brief look at the stuff that she comes with: shield, robot, sword, 80s adventures. On the back, we see as seen on Puns of the Game Master. For the episode, I'm guessing that the little robotic training robot came from. The little robotic training robot. That's a real good way to put that. And it just mentions that it's modernizing and celebrating the original 80s Masters of the Universe animated series Cartoon Collection, blah, blah, blah. They probably should have just put some kind of little... They should have just done like a little informational thing like they did on all the other ones, rather than to just do the modernizing thing. Twist and powerful battle positions includes training robot. Now, what's been weird with this, though, they show 4 different Cartoon Collection figures: Teela, Trapjaw, evil and armed for combat; Stratos, winged warrior; and a merman, ocean warlord. The cartoon versions of them. But the waves are set up so that 2 cartoon versions come out and go with 2 of the reissues of the original Origins figures. So that's kind of a bit weird. And also, I noticed that even though Skeletor has already come out, he's not pictured on the box. Like, the distribution on these is just kind of weird. But anyway, let's go ahead and open her up, shall we? Oh, shit. I think I went into the comic there. Comic's kind of bent in the box, too. Oh yeah, I definitely cut into the comic. Ta-da! Let's go ahead and throw our Teela figure around, shall we? She comes with a mini comic and informational guide for what parts come off of her. The comic appears to be misprinted, as there is a huge white space here, and there probably shouldn't be. Or maybe there is supposed to be. That's because the text goes all the way over to there, so that's not too much. I'm still guessing somebody screwed up on the files when it went to the printer. So we show Teela training as King Randor is asking her to find some Eternium in order to help power up the castle more. Honestly, it might have been kind of cool if they'd given us the cloth outfit that she's wearing here, you know. But as she goes to look for the Eternium, she runs into a Trapjaw, who is also looking for it. A big time storm in the sands of time occurs, and they are sent to Preternia. Not to be mistaken with the Preternia from the Revelations cartoon. This is the actual Preternia with dinosaurs and shit. I gotta stop swearing. It's actually a pretty nice image here. I wouldn't mind having that as a poster. And they make a deal that they will go ahead and work together to find a way back without killing each other. And they go up against a 3-headed dragon. I was about to say Tiamat, but it's only got 3 heads, not 5 or 7. They somehow manage to defeat the dragon together. which seems kind of unlikely. Looks like Teela broke its teeth or hit it into the throat, so maybe it just ran away. And Chapjaw tries to get away with the Eternium. Randomly, another storm comes and brings them back to the present, where you see King Randor once again with her. She's only been gone for a couple minutes, so she literally only lost a couple minutes in real time, but probably aged a couple hours in Puternia. And her horse is there, it looks like, and Orko. And we get to see that Trapjaw is being punished by Skeletor for failing in his duty. Although, if you look at that stock there, there's no reason why Trapjaw couldn't pull his arm out. And of course, on the back, we've got the cross cell. And as I look at this, it is kind of hard to see, but I can see where the you can kind of see a border around here. Which again, they screwed something up here, because this should not have a white line over here, right? Anyway, enough of that. Let's take a look at the figure, because that's what you're really here for. Shield. The sword here is a very soft rubbery material. I guess because they made the big point on it. They didn't want it to be sharp enough to injure. But that's still going to hurt like hell if you stick it in your eye. Training robot. The arms do actually move. So, hey, we got articulation on the training robot. And we, of course, have Teela, the beautiful warrior goddess. So we already did the robot's articulation. Let's do Teela's. Her head is on a ball joint with the looseness there of the way the peg's done. So you can look all around. Arms go up, arms go down, arms go up, arms spin around and pop off. We do have, she's pretty much she's like a whole new sculpt, I would say, although the boots might be the same. And we'll check that in a minute. We've got a hinge at the elbow, so we can hinge up and down and spin it. The hand has the in and out articulation. It's very stiff, but it also spins. We've got the waist swivel and her, I don't know what you would call this actually, but it does not hinder anything because it is not part of the waist, and it moves with her and is soft enough to do so. She can kick up. Actually, she's got a higher kick than most of the figures do, to be honest. Kick back. We can kind of see her little butt cheeks here, which was also a feature of watching the cartoon. Knee's got a hinge joint and a swivel. We've got the boot cut as per normal. We got a hinge at the ankle and a spin. Face sculpt looks really good. I do think maybe her eyebrows are a little bit too sharp. But otherwise, I think it's a really well done job. And as far as I can tell, without a magnifying glass, it does look like they got really detailed with the actual eyes themselves. Her lipstick might be a little bit darker than what she should have, though, for being a cartoon version. Now, for everybody's favorite feature to learn with this figure. Maybe. You can, in fact, take her armor off. And when you do so, she has boobs. Not very big ones. Definitely the armor gives her a lot more definition in that area. But she does have them. And they are covered, so it does look like she is just wearing a nice little unitard underneath. This figure could actually be used for making like an origin style Wonder Woman or some of the other female figures pretty easy, because there is very little definition in any of the outfits. So it's real well open to our interpretation. We should probably put that back on now. Oh my God. Of course, it is kind of rubbery, so it does move easily enough, but also there is some fear that you might rip it. Ribbit. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so we showed off the sword already once. The handle is really huge on here, or really thick, and she still has like the small feminine hand for this. So you're definitely putting pressure on the hand when you put the sword in there. And we have her shield, which is designed to look like the one from the cartoon series. Now, let's talk about the stupid aspects of this figure. Okay, the figure itself is great, perfectly fine. Here's the stupid. We got the same stupid backing on this shield that her Origins version had. Instead of having a curved one that fits in the curved hand, it's still just kind of a rectangle squared bit. So once again, like with Origins, it does not hold very well in her hand. Like, you couldn't have fixed that feature of this, Mattel, when you made the shield. It's a whole new shield. Why didn't you just make a whole new handle for it? The other stupid, the training robot floats. As you can see in the artwork here, it floats. There is no stand for this thing. It just sits there like that. I would have been fine if you get rid of the articulation and just gave us some kind of little flight stand. Was that too much to ask? Because otherwise, this would have been really cool. Because you could have had it like floating up here, and I guess maybe there's not even like a hole. Like if they put a hole in there or something where you could have at least gotten some kind of other stand, that would have been fine too. But they didn't even bother with that either. In comparison, we have our alternate versions of Origins Teela. The one that came with Zor, that I generally refer to as their attempt at a 2000X version, because she's got the long ponytail, and she also came with a regular sword, and her armor is bright yellow, like the original 2000X Teela figures. And as is the curse with all of the Masters of the Universe women, her skin tone does not match up with any of her sisters. Now, the question I had earlier, though, was about the boots. And it does, in fact, look like the top of the boots are the same from Origins to this, as is the bottom of them. Maybe. Huh. There is a little bit of a wave in the boots on the Origins figures, the original releases, that isn't quite on hers. Like a little bit of extra detail. It might be hard to see here, but it does look like there is a slightly larger heel on the cartoon one. And it's kind of a shame they didn't actually make it a little bit more pronounced, because if you have watched the cartoon, she actually is wearing heels. And for one other comparison, I have the Super 7 Club Grayskull version of Teela. And what can I say about that face sculpt? Nobody has gotten it right. Okay, because Mattel did a version of the Cartoon Teela that came with the classics. Talon Fighter. They did a version that came with the classics Talon Fighter that had a god-awful face sculpt on it and bad paint jobs. Super 7 did a god-awful head that was somewhat better than that version. I kind of wish I could have dug it out to show you, because it is that the Mattel version was freaking terrible. Like I said, this was a little bit better. This one actually did capture pretty well. Again, I think her eyebrows are a little bit too strict looking, but otherwise, it's a really beautiful face sculpt. Kind of forgot how poorly done some of these figures actually were by Super 7 too when it came to this. She's really loose. Her harness could also come off, and she got a man chest under there. Anyway, that is our cartoon version of Teela. She's definitely worth it. Oh, and I forgot to check. We did this with Skeletor. I don't know if they did it with the female figures or not. How compatible are the body parts? So far, so good. Okay, so the ball joint on the head on Cartoon Teela is a little bit bigger than the one on the other Teelas. You can't really see it when you actually look at it, though. The waist worked fine. Oh, I'm going to do the other arm because that one does not want to come out. Yeah, it looks like the arms are perfectly compatible. Although, I would definitely say this is still a little bit heavier duty, a little bit thicker. The boots are the same, so. And at least they used the better version. Well, they. You know what? I was thinking this was a whole new sculpt, but now I'm not so sure about that. Nope, it is. The knees are just slightly different. They did a better job on the knees on the cartoon version than they did on the originals. Anyway. Oh, wait a minute. Scratch that. Okay, so the origin knees actually look a little bit better, but are they any taller? That's not something I didn't even think to check either. Man, I'm kind of... If I didn't mind looking like an idiot, I'd actually have to re-record part of this. It kind of seems like I think the cartoon Teela is actually shorter than the Origins Teela. You know, it looks like the waists are about the same height. The torsos are slightly different heights, it looks like to me. Like, I think Cartoon Teela might be just a little bit shorter, and the neck on her is a little bit shorter as well, is what it appears to be. So there you go. Whereupon Skeletor was a little taller, Teela is apparently a little bit shorter. And I expect that'll be the same for all of the female characters. So anyway, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and love.